Morning sunlight spilled through the grand windows of St. Mary's Private Hospital in New York, where billionaire Edwin Hawthorne sat in silence beside the pale, unmoving form of his only daughter, Evelyn. Machines beeped softly in the background, marking time he could no longer control. 3 weeks ago, she had slipped into a coma after a traumatic car accident. Specialists flew in from around the world. None had helped. She lay still, lifeless, and Edwin, with all his power, stood powerless. This is Luxary Auto 1, where we bring you stories that shake hearts and challenge the soul. And this story, it begins when the world's wealth met the world's forgotten. On that morning, Edwin had refused all visitors. But fate had other plans. Outside the hospital gates stood a girl in torn jeans and muddy sneakers. Her name was Leela. She was 16, homeless, alone, and yet, she had walked 20 blocks with only a whispered rumor in her heart, that a girl who had not woken might still hear. She had been sleeping in the subway when she overheard a nurse talking. Hawthorne's daughter, the nurse had said. Still not responding. Poor man doesn't know what to do. It wasn't much. But to Leela, it was something. When she reached the hospital entrance, the guards blocked her instantly. Patients only, one snapped. Please, Leela begged, just 1 minute. Do you have family here? No, she said. But I can help. Move along, another guard barked. But as fate would have it, Dr. Layla Merrin, Evelyn's neurologist, happened to be passing by. Her sharp eyes caught the desperation in Leela's voice. What did you say? The doctor asked. Leela repeated. I can wake her. Dr. Merrin paused. 1,000 reasons screamed no, but something deeper made her say, let her in. Inside, Leela walked softly into the private wing. Nurses stared. No one knew what to expect. Edwin, furious at the breach, stood up. What is this? Leela stepped forward. Sir, I can wake your daughter. Get out, he snapped. I'm not here to steal. I'm not here to hurt anyone. Why should I believe you? Leela took a breath. Because, I've heard her. Everyone froze. You've heard her? Dr. Merrin asked. In the silence, in my dreams, I see her sitting in a field, surrounded by flowers. She's waiting for someone to say her name the right way. Not with fear, not with desperation, but with love. A nurse scoffed. This is ridiculous. But Evelyn stirred. Barely. But enough. Every head turned toward the bed. Leela approached slowly. She whispered Evelyn's name, not once, but 3 times. Then she closed her eyes, placed her palm gently on Evelyn's forehead, and began to hum. It wasn't a song anyone recognized, but something about it felt old, sacred. And then, Evelyn's eyes fluttered. Machines beeped wildly. Gasps filled the room. My God, whispered a nurse. Edwin fell to his knees beside his daughter, Evelyn. Her voice, faint but real, responded, Daddy. There was no science that explained it. No medical textbook could justify it. But there she was, awake. And there was Leela, trembling, not from fear, but exhaustion. Later, when the press tried to storm the hospital, Edwin said nothing. He had no answers, just questions, and a miracle. He searched for Leela, but she was gone. It took 3 days to find her again. Sleeping beneath an overpass near Central Park, Edwin knelt beside her this time. You saved my daughter. Leela opened one eye. She was calling out. Someone had to answer. Why you? Because I know what it feels like to be forgotten. To wait for someone to care. Edwin didn't speak. Instead, he reached into his coat and handed her a small envelope. Inside, not cash, but a letter. It was an admission letter to the Hawthorne Academy, one of the most prestigious schools in